Stavros, good evening, and thank you so much for being with us, and thanks for getting involved, pardon me, with the campaign. When you heard that we were embarking, on this adventure, and we, through this initiative, had received this global attention, what was your reaction?
Can I, just before I respond, can I please say how splendid Bongiwe and Megan are looking this evening? And can I also say that I've seldom witnessed the excitement in the studio here this evening. It is truly a momentous occasion, and let me, on behalf of Aspen Pharmacare, congratulate the entire Full View team, and in particular all those that were involved behind the scenes to establish and incept this initiative. This initiative is around period poverty, and of course when we got approached with SABC and the SIA Foundation to become involved, it was an absolute no-brainer. Most corporate social initiatives, Iman, that you pursue really have one objective. This one has multiple objectives and has such a wonderful multiplier effect back into the economy, back into the social society leanings of our country, because it addresses three things. The first is that around 7 million girls and women cannot access appropriate and suitable sanitary towels in the country. Around 30% of them are missing work, missing school, and that increases poverty in our country. It increases global poverty, because no one is better suited to reduce poverty than women who are really the head of the household. Now, if those women are not turning up for work, they're getting demoted, they don't have the same opportunities that males have got. If they are not turning up to school and they are laggards in school, they're not being as appropriately educated as their male counterparts, that is only going to widen poverty. And we already have an existing problem with unemployment and poverty in our country. It just widens it. So this initiative that the SABC launched around period poverty is an immensely important one for the country, and we as Aspen Pharmacare have rallied behind it because it addresses poverty, it addresses disease entities. If you don't have proper sanitary care, it's going to exacerbate diseases like pelvic inflammatory disease and others. That's a further burden on the state. But the big thing is we've got to destigmatize this thing around periods and menstrual cycles and give women an equal chance to men, both at an education level and in the workplace. And that is why it is a wonderful initiative that is deserving of the award that was received this evening.
Couldn't agree with you more. And of course, one of the key things there is dignity, is the ability to have that confidence when you are showing up at school or in whatever capacity you're showing up, and also reducing the dependency on opportunistic predatorial forces who'll give you money to take care of that problem, in inverted commas, and then creating this kind of unnecessary dependency. Since the broadcast, Stavros, you've adopted 3 schools to see to their young girls for an entire year. Tell us about that.
So we've executed on 2 of the 3 schools. There's a third one coming up shortly. So the first school is a school called Noordgesig. And these are all schools in what were formerly townships. So there's a historical element there. And the way we want to look at it, and the way SABC have guided and steered this initiative, it's no use going in and providing sanitary towels for a month or 2. And what do you do for the remaining 10 months? So for this project to succeed, you need continuity and sustainability. It's no use giving these young ladies pads and then in 3 months' time they're back being stigmatized, and as you said, it's undignified. The dignity issue is massive. So with all of these schools, we have adopted approximately 2,000 girls, young women. It's a combination of both young women and girls for a 12-month period on a sustainable basis. Now, period poverty and becoming involved in menstrual hygiene. So menstrual hygiene for a healthcare company like Aspen can never be understated, because the burden of disease is so high in our country. If we're just exacerbating that by not having proper menstrual hygiene, proper menstrual sanitation, then it's a disgrace, nothing short of that. So we have for some time now as Aspen supported various initiatives where we make available sanitary towels and sanitary pads to young women of this country so that we can turn the tide against what is a pandemic, I'm afraid. You know, this whole menstrual hygiene, period poverty is another pandemic. And we will continue to support this initiative. I can give that commitment tonight, this evening.
The pen is here somewhere.
I'm sure Megan, as soon as she gets back, will make me sign on the dotted line. But it is something that we intend to continue because it is so effective. It addresses multiple issues in our country, not just a single issue. Just to repeat, it's poverty, it's menstrual hygiene, it's women empowerment and gender equality issues, and lastly, it's about restoring dignity and faith in women again.
100%. You know, Stavros, in some ways, when I look at your work and, you know, I look at the myriad things that you do, in a sense, you're South Africa's ambassador at large. You represent the brand of the country and you raise our flag high in various fora, whether it comes to business issues, around social issues as well. And you carry, of course, the company brand inside that story as well. When you, because you were just at the UN GA, you know, you were there last week in New York as well for that event. When you think of all of this and South Africa's place as a leader, we had wonderful words about how the SABC and South Africa are taking that leadership role in information and in empowerment. How else do you foresee us using this platform for that type of good?
Iman, it's an excellent question. And the first thing is we doubt ourselves as South Africans and we forget about the excellence that exists in our country. So I think many people malign the SABC. Right? Many people think it's excellent, but others malign it. It's so important to receive the recognition that you have this evening because it demonstrates how world-class a broadcaster, a national broadcaster we have sitting here on the African continent that is deservedly being recognized. And we need to build on these centers of excellence that exist in our country. Now, at the UN General Assembly, as much as we think we're the only country that's battling globally and there's high inflation and poverty and high unemployment, etc., this is becoming a global phenomenon. And you can kind of talk yourself into a recession very often. I'm not minimizing for one moment the challenges that exist in our country. They are immense. But I think to address those, we need to build on the excellence that exists. So I spoke at a session in UNGA, I spoke at a session, the World Trade Organization in Geneva a couple of days later. And in both of those sessions, people were coming up to me and saying, we never knew Aspen had this technology. We never knew the medical excellence that exists in South Africa. So these pockets of excellence exist. Your SABC is demonstrating that again, and we need to build on that as part of developing a consistent narrative of excellence around the country.
And it's wonderful to always hear you raise our flag as well, Stavros. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having
being
me.
with us. Thanks for being a partner in the process, and thank you for being a partner to the program as well. Appreciate it so much.
Thanks. It's a great partnership. Thanks, Iman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stavros Nicolaou, the Group Senior Executive for Strategic Trade at Aspen Pharma Group. And that, on that glorious note, is a wrap from all of us here on Full View tonight in Johannesburg and in New York.